I went through 15 different treatment facilities, and each one of them, I was like, this is going to be the one that works. And even though they gave me tools and insights and helped me along the way, there was obviously something missing. Recently, Celebrate Recovery at Sun Valley Community Church, Gilbert Campus, just celebrated 19 years. And it made me stop and reflect on what God is doing and how that program saved my life. For a long time, my life was caught in this cycle. And it was up to me to try to fix it, Like, I would try harder and fail. I would dig deeper and fail. In between those times, I would carry so much shame. Like, why am I not getting this? It wasn't a lack of not trying. I tried my hardest. What it boiled down to is I didn't really understand what surrender meant. Judah's in there talking to his grandma on the iPad, so you might hear him in the background. But when I first came to Celebrate Recovery, I didn't get it at first. I didn't understand if this is where I needed to be. Is this even gonna help me? Like, what am I doing here? But I kept coming back. And somewhere along the way, some things broke open for me. Not in a dramatic way or an overnight way. It was more like a slow burn. I was seeing other people be vulnerable about their hurts, hang-ups, and habits, and it made me feel safe. For the first time, I stopped trying to actually fix myself, letting God meet me where I was. Recovery stopped being performative for me. I stopped checking the boxes of what I needed to do and actually start building relationships. When I think about Celebrate Recovery being there for 19 years, it just hits me of all the life change that happened in those 19 years. And I'm incredibly grateful CR existed when I was actually finally ready. As part of Celebrate Recovery's 19-year anniversary, we celebrated by sharing some of these stories. I had an opportunity to share my mini testimony, and I would love to share it with you guys. All right. All right, grateful believer, alcoholic addict. The name is Jason. All right. Before recovery, my life was chaotic, built on survival mode. I grew up around abuse, addiction, and instability. My home was not safe, and that sticks with you as a kid. I learned early not to trust people and to keep everything inside. I carried a lot of shame, never really felt like I fit anywhere. I was too good for the bad kids and too bad for the good kids. When I was 13 years old, I'm gonna say I was taken advantage of by a 40-year-old woman who introduced me to pornography, alcohol, and drugs. When I found those things, I felt like a relief. Like I finally had something that worked until it didn't. As I got older, I learned how to look put together on the outside. The military gave me structure and purpose, and I did well there. Got promoted, won all the awards, got recognized, but on the inside, nothing was healed. I traded chaos for control and called it growth. My relationships were still unhealthy, and my drinking and drug use was getting worse. See, addiction made me secretive, calculated. I didn't just drink, I hid it and I manipulated. I used to hide my vodka in pickle juice bottles because nobody in my house liked pickle juice, and I drank pickle juice, and that's where I hid my vodka. That is the kind of thinking addiction creates. Always managing, always hiding, always pretending everything is fine. Over the years, I went through relapse, treatment centers, legal troubles, 3 marriages, and some dark seasons. Every time I messed up, I followed the same exact pattern. I isolated. I ran away from God and from other people. See, I relate a lot to the story of Judas and Peter, more so about their failures. See, I was a huge judgy person against Judas. I was like, Judas, you saw everything that God did, that Jesus did, but yet you sold him out. And then through my time of recovery, I started to realize something. Wait, I'm Judas. I'm no different than Judas. It was the same pattern that I followed. When I messed up, I isolated. I ran away from God. And we all know what happened to Judas. One thing I didn't understand for a long time was how deep my isolation ran in my life. It was just something I did when I relapsed. It was how I lived. Even when I was around other people, I stayed guarded and self-protected. I thought strength meant you had to fix everything by yourself. Recovery taught me that secrets keep us sick, but honesty puts us where God can actually do work. There was a season where my addiction had me planning everything just to keep using. I wasn't only making bad choices and decisions, I was building systems to protect my addiction and my image. Living that double life is exhausting. What started to break that pattern was simple, but hard. Telling the truth sooner, reaching out faster, instead of disappearing. God really started to work on me through Celebrate Recovery. CR gave me a place where I could stop performing and start being honest. It showed me my problem was just not substances, but also pride, fear, and isolation. I learned that healing starts when you tell the truth out loud, not to just God, but to other people. God really started to work on me through that process. He introduced me to CR, and I got plugged into a step study. I got accountability brothers. And when I started to attend, small groups and open shares were huge for me. Sitting in a circle with people really breaks things open. No fixing, no judging, just pure honesty. And I have seen God show up in those rooms again and again. Hearing someone say what you only thought lived in your head really changes things. It reminds me I'm not alone, and I'm not beyond grace. I also had to relearn how to see God. I believed in God, but I didn't believe He wanted me back after everything I have done. Through recovery, scripture, and community, I began to understand grace as something real and lived out through all of you. Life today is not perfect, but is grounded and it's honest. My recovery is built on relationships with God, accountability, and community. When I struggle now, I reach out instead of disappearing. And that's new for me. I take recovery one day at a time. I stay connected, accountable, and honest. It's not perfect, but I'm willing. That has made all the difference. God has restored things that I could not fix on my own. Relationships, purpose, and hope. To the newcomer, if you're unsure about CR stepping into a small group, trust me, I can relate. Walking into my first one took everything that I had. And I didn't get it for a while, but there was one thing that I did keep doing, and that was coming back. I wanted to run, but realized that the place I wanted to avoid is often the place God uses most. So lean in on this. Keep coming back. It works if you work it, and you don't have to do it alone. Thank you for allowing me to share.
And look, Celebrate Recovery did not make my life perfect. But what it did do is give me a place where I can find freedom from those hurts, hang-ups, and habits. A place
place where I can build a relationship with God and other people who are going to stand by me when I walk this journey. So if you're feeling stuck or as if you have no place to go, no hope, I completely relate. I totally understand. I'm extremely grateful for those 19 years of Celebrate Recovery at Sun Valley Community Church, Gilbert Campus, because somewhere in those years, they saved me a seat, and there is one for you.